All right, welcome back to Planet Gen X. How you doing, guys? As you guys know, we're a podcast about anyone born between like the 60s and 80s and that general area. I can't give you the exact date. I don't remember where it was. But yeah, we like
late
things
60s, early 80s.
Yeah, we like things like, nerd culture, movies, television show, nostalgia, just anything. I mean, just anything nerd related. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be anything. Wouldn't you agree?
I do.
That's my co-host. His name is B, and he does agree. So, all right, guys, we're happy to be here. Yeah. Yep. Oh, man, got a little bit of news today, and got some. We got a couple recaps. We got Picard, episode 4, VR, and Mando, episode Zwei. Yes, yes, and I think just a quick thing about Mando. It definitely, as a little teaser, you were right about it should have been a 2-part from him. But we'll tickle your ass with a feather. Touch on that. Yeah, tickle your ass with a feather there, and we'll get straight on into the news. Well, before I go into the news, man, I just want to ask you how you doing today.
Oh wow, I wasn't expecting that. We totally skipped over that. I'm all right. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm doing really well. Yeah. I got a shit ton of work done this week around the house.
Nice. Getting
stuff out. Yeah, we borrowed my father-in-law's truck and trailer. I got rid of a big old couch that was in the way. Dining room table we took over to their house to store it because the wife didn't want to part with it. A little sentimental value there. And then I just got on this kick, man. I mean, you know how it is with ADHD. It's like, I was in a zone. I knew I was there, and I was going to exploit it. And I kept it going. Her birthday was this past Thursday. It was on the 9th. Oh, and cool. So, yeah, I just kept it going, and I was cleaning this, cleaning that. I mean, I was literally vacuuming ceilings and stuff. So, yeah, I was getting down with it, and I cleaned her room real good and stuff, and just went.
And you always have, like, a nice day after that, right? Where, like, you can breathe easy because it's where it's supposed to be and it's all clean.
Yeah. I mean, it's coming along, dude. I got to say, I've always been kind of embarrassed about our house because we have a tiny house. And if this picture that y'all see right now wasn't blurred, you would see it's just ridiculous, like how much stuff I have. And in a tiny house, you just can't be that way. I mean, we don't live in a tiny home, those kind of little tiny home things. It's just a small
floor
house.
Space.
Yeah. Just like one of those shotgun houses, straight front to back. Couple of rooms, one bathroom, a kitchen, that kind of thing. Living room, dining room. But yeah, so I feel pretty good that I just got some accomplished. It actually can fall under spring cleaning. There's plenty of pollen around to make it official, whether it's in spring or not.
Feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, man. It's been warm and everything. What's been, you had anything special happening?
Not really. Like, my usual lack of sleep and, social isolation. That's about it.
Well, this is your one of those great things you look forward to, I know. Like I
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Good deal. Well, I just wanted to let everybody get, we always just kind of jet into things. We never talk about ourselves very much too often unless we're doing it within the show somewhat. But yeah, just from the beginning.
To be perfectly honest, being both of us guys from the South, I think we're probably, I don't know if the narcissism comes into it, but for me, it's like you're not supposed to talk about it. It's like one of those unsaid rules, like, you're not supposed to talk about it yourself. And if you're having problems, you're not supposed to let people know about it, all that stuff.
Yeah, see, I've never had that problem.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I'm straight out of the box. I'll talk to you and tell you all about it. Yeah. No problemo.
Well, let's hop into the news then.
All right, man. Sounds good. Yeah, right out of the box, man. We love talking about Hogwarts Legacy, or maybe I do.
Yeah.
PS4 and Xbox One.
Pothead.
Yeah.
The other kind of pothead.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a pothead. Yeah. PS4 and Xbox One have a little bit of a delay coming. You gotta say, at least they're honest. I saw before I pulled this news from somebody else, I actually saw, because I'm on their Discord server where they have posted it. And so they're saying it's delayed until May 5th.
Right.
Which is the day after Star Wars Day.
Yeah, May the 4th.
Yeah. I guess they would have put it out that day, but they knew it would be just completely lost. in the shuffle of all Star Wars talk.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, they'd probably be partying.
You're right. I will say it's probably a good idea. If you played Hogwarts on a super crispy system, we've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little different experience than if you're working off of like old hardware.
Yeah.
So probably a lot of updates that are going to make that experience a lot better for those PS4 and Xbox One players.
Yeah, and we've already talked about how the S and the developers are having problems just trying to get the games to where they'll play on it properly and not, look like shit on the X. So it's the same deal.
Lag.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. You're trying to do the same game on a generation older systems. Mm-hmm. I'm glad they're taking the time to do it right. They put out an update. I didn't have this in the news, but they did put out an update the other day. For the Xbox. Well, they put it out for everybody. But, I forget what number it is, but it came out 3 or 4 days ago. Fixed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't notice
anything. I actually finished my playthrough.
Did you?
Yeah.
I got to be honest, man. I hadn't played in a couple of days. I got to a spot, I think it was some spider or something, was just kicking my ass. And I guess I just wasn't in the mood for it. So I'll come back to it probably Monday, more than likely, because I'll be busy doing the podcast stuff this weekend.
Yeah, and I mean, you can always go around your map and find infamous foes and do other stuff in the meantime,
there's
right?
plenty of stuff to do. Like, even though you finish a story, there's tons for you to do. I mean, just going and exploring.
Yeah,
it's all out there. Let's see. Next, you got. You put this one here? Didn't
something
you?
Weird kind of happened when we put our show notes up. Apparently, some of the windows came up where some of the other talking points. Oh no, there it did. The HP stuff we should probably drop down and go on to either Epic or Starfield.
Okay, yeah, Epic. Well, no, Starfield. Yeah, Starfield's been speaking of being pushed back. So yeah, This is perfect, really. Starfield is pushed back to September 6th, but we have a date. Yeah. And we're getting some more play footage, I think. More people are, because this is a game you haven't seen much of. I gotta say, when I first heard about Starfield, I was all about it. Then I saw Starfield finally and was completely not about it. It's not my style game. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's not my game. It looks really great. What I thought in my head is just not, so.
Well, I mean, that's a common thing with games, man. Like I was going through Epic and good old games and stuff like that yesterday, trying to find something free to play, because there are some things that I've got on hold that I could go back to, but I wasn't ready to get back into those.
Yeah,
and the Japanese are really bad about this. So much media that is not representative of gameplay, because it's eye candy. It's there to capture your eyes and get that thought going. Then you actually see gameplay or experience it, and it's not really what you're looking for.
Yeah, and as soon as I saw it, I thought, well, shit. I mean, Star Citizen's more along the lines of what I wanted. I can't bring myself to play that just because of the price of it. And this just looks like it's more like a Halo, and more like Halo with Star Citizen added underneath, like a watered down Star Citizen underneath. I don't know, that's just the way it appeared to me. So yeah, not on my list of games at the moment.
Same.
We'll go right on to Epic. Put out a little thing saying they have given away nearly 700 million free games last year.
It's a big number.
It was a big number. I've gotten quite a few of those games too.
I have too, and I actually missed out on a lot of them as well.
Me too, especially at Christmas, man. They were giving them out like crazy. And I got quite a few of them, but I couldn't keep up. That timer was driving me crazy, for one thing. I could not figure out the days, minutes, hours, seconds on that thing to save my life. That might be from other issues. I don't know, but it was just fucking with me bad. But yeah, you got to love that. Or I don't know. Do you love it? I'm sure we love it. But I'm not so sure the developers love it. I don't know how that goes about. Some probably feel like they wouldn't have got a look in otherwise, maybe. I don't know. So maybe they feel like these people will turn around and buy a game they got for free. I don't know. Maybe the DLC. But you see, a lot of the DLC you get for free too.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like a lot of these games that I recall anyway were games that have already been through their initial sales phase.
Yeah.
And I had to drop. Like Morrowind was a recent one, and that's such an old game.
Wolfenstein.
Nobody should pay for that, huh?
Wolfenstein was it was about a year ago, because it was about the year right when Diablo came out, and Burner or Immortal, whatever it's
Immortal, yeah.
Diablo Mobile.
Yeah. MOBA. Immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. Also, they are the home of Rocket League, which has always been popular up until now. It seems like a lot of those lobbies are empty as of recent.
Yeah, I've never actually played that. I tried the World of Tanks stuff one time. I've just never really gotten into that kind of league style fighting with people.
Yeah, well, Rocket League was just kind of an interesting. It came out of nowhere, right? It was like you're driving a car, you're hitting balls around on a kind of a soccer type field, and there are definitely levels of play, and it just worked.
I was amazed at the sport it became. Like, I guess it's one of not the first esports, but it's one of the most popular.
It was definitely popular, and I think it also came out at one of those times that I'd like to talk about where it was just a desert of games.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's all gaming.
I think.
Yeah.
Move on to
back
movies
to that
and
HP
TV
story or what?
Yeah, well, we should probably drop that in. I don't think we have anything else tech related, right?
Yeah, I was going to say there's nothing really related to that.
We could drop the info about YouTube. That's good news for you, right?
I hope so. One day. I haven't actually had a chance to look at this yet, but yeah, YouTube is changing their monetization standard. Yippee! I also know they're changing their stance on cursing. They're lifting their tightness on that a little bit too.
That's what that was about.
Oh yeah.
Basically, they had a policy in place where if there was any cursing in the first 15 seconds, I think it was much shorter than what you were thinking.
Yeah.
That it was automatically demonetized.
Oh shit.
And they're coming back on that.
Yeah. I just, you see these guys with these YouTube videos that think they know how you're going to get the best YouTube. I'm sorry, the best possible viewers and all that stuff. Getting the algorithm to show you around and stuff like that. Right. I think some of the ones I saw were saying like, just don't cuss in the first couple minutes and you should be golden. Or maybe it was 30 seconds. Maybe I probably averaged it. I probably saw one that said 30 seconds, one that saw, 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes or something like that. And I said, well, fuck it. I'll just do 2.
Well, there's also like a large group of people that not just are on YouTube, but content creators, presenters, whatnot, that have that old school mentality of broadcast in their head, which is like you can't curse, just the stuff that was old school for TV when it was cable.
No doubt. It's weird as much as I cuss, and thanks to my older brother for getting me going at 5 years old. I could out cuss any of you, I promise. He thought it was really funny. I don't know, it just fell natural to me. And
same.
But I get irritated as shit nowadays watching it on modern television, being wedged in. Got a great example since we'll be talking about it today on Picard. Picard says, I don't even remember what he says.
I think he said fuck.
Yeah, he does say fuck. He says it's fucking something. I forget what he says, though, exactly.
Well, I mean, that was the thing.
So fucking wrong. Even my wife piped up about it, man. It just did not feel right. It felt wedged in.
Well, it was the dialogue was messed up. It was because the fuck wasn't where it should have been.
Yeah.
It should have been too. After. I can't remember the exact phrase either, but it was just in the wrong place, in the wrong order.
Yeah, but overall, it just felt wrong for Picard in the moment anyway, or just, I don't know. I mean, I'm fine with hearing it in Star Trek, but it never was in Star Trek, except for Bones saying, damn it. That was about it.
Right.
You know.
Well,
it's very strange.
There were a few Klingon words, right?
Yeah, I mean, that is it. You know, Patak. You just don't even know. Well, I mean, somebody knows. But I don't know exactly what that means. I just assume it means like, you know, dickhead or asshole or something like that. You know, somebody can
Who knows exactly.
Somebody
the Klingon heads, dude. Yeah.
Oh, when I was younger, I used to want to get that Klingon dictionary. It was never expensive, but for some reason, I could never get it in my hot little hand and pay that $10. I just could never bring myself to do it. And of course, now you know they've got it where you can
a wiki.
Yeah, you can go anywhere, and they have voice files and stuff where you can actually. That's the thing. You had to hear it for me. Try it, because if you ever looked at it in print, it's like, how the fuck do you say this word? It's got like a big
How many
Q
apostrophes can you fit into a word?
Yeah, 5 apostrophes, a big Q, a little W, and it's like, how do you say that shit? So yeah, it was until the audio version came out. That was probably not.
Yeah,
a lot of Klingon, a lot of fan Klingons going around sounding like retarded Klingons. Oh, I'm sorry, you're not supposed to say that word now.
Well, you could say it like around here, you know, a redneck Klingon.
Yeah, a redneck Klingon. There you go.
Ka-plow.
Ka-plow. Shit. Now you maybe want to think of another one. Shit.
I'm drawing a blank, man. I
me
can come
too.
up with
Damn,
it
I know
sometimes.
it's just a Klingon word. Fucking Patak. Yeah, no, I don't know. I fucked it all up.
It's all good.
Yeah, now we can move into movies and television.
Well, the HP thing.
Oh, we never did talk about that. It's bricking printers.
Supposedly. I've heard on forums that people are complaining that it's bricking, but according to HP, it's just basically what they did is they put in a DRM that says, you know, it's going to look for a chip that's only on their cartridges, and if it doesn't find it, you can't use it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bogus.
Supposedly, you can just replace it with another one, but everybody's saying that their printers are bricked, and, you know, it's kind of a dick move.
It's like Dell with their little smart pen on their laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Just come on, man. It's annoying.
I don't know.
It's just annoying because you can use another aftermarket, and you just got to deal with hitting a key every time you log on your computer just to bypass this little note saying, "This is not a Dell authorized. I can't communicate with your power adapter. Oh no! Oh no! Ah!"
I'm actually amazed that HP is still around. You know, it always seems like they always struggle to maintain price points on their color printers after it was no longer a new thing.
Bro, you know, we were practically giving those away. I mean, like, we had to give them away at less than cost sometimes because we'd have to bundle them in something just to justify the price. I never worked at a computer store that got a good deal on printers, ever.
Right.
And I have purchased from many computer stores. Never could get a good deal. I've had others. You know, we had the Chinese connection. Still couldn't get a good deal. Unless you're buying hundreds of thousands of them some bitches. Yeah, I always thought Epson was better. They were always ahead of the game as far as what you got. You could get a photo. They were way ahead as far as photo quality before HP came around. Now they got those EcoJet with the you know, you got the tanks now. That's pretty damn nice, man. That's innovative. You can't beat innovation.
Right. And it's also I don't know about super sustainable, but a lot more sustainable than, you know, always chunking a cartridge.
No doubt, man. I mean, that's I know they tried to do recycling programs and stuff, but a lot of those they ended up in the landfills and
right.
You know, and then you could buy the refillers, and those were a nightmare. You'd have ink everywhere. I got those little things burned in my head. We used to have like packages and packages of those things at CDO, man.
Man, I couldn't tell you how many times after somebody had to try and refill their crap, I had to go back and, you know, just clean up leads or, you know, the tray or carry or whatever. And like, it magically works again.
Right. Yeah. Just a little cleaning. That'll do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's got our big tech talk for the day. HP.
Yeah. We can move into the fun stuff.
Yeah. Beetlejuice. I'm not going to say it a third time just in case.
I'll say it for you.
Beetlejuice 2 in the works for the 100th time in this decade. Now, apparently it really is supposedly going to be a thing. We got Michael Keaton returning as Beetlejuice, and Jenna Ortega as Lydia's daughter. And y'all know her from the new Wednesday series that Tim Burton had. I have not seen that series yet. I didn't realize he was doing it, though, until the other day. So that changes my interest.
I never saw like all of the episodes or anything. I watched some of it with a friend because she was really into Wednesday. But for me, it doesn't feel like it has the usual sets that you're used to with Tim Burton.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it felt kind of empty so far as like who Wednesday was, right?
Is this going to be one of those things where he just slaps his name on it like he did Nightmare Before Christmas?
I think it is.
Not many people know that story. Yeah. Tim Burton had shit to do with Nightmare Before Christmas, like almost nothing to do with Nightmare Before. The guy that did have everything to do with it, I'm sorry, I can't, because he deserves the credit. I wish I could say his name. It was a director who basically did everything. Basically, the art direction is what you got out of, you got his stylized look. But this one guy did it and got fucked over it. Yeah, he got his Tim Burton's name all over it, and this guy, he may have even pulled his name after the fact. I don't know for sure, but it's really not much of a Tim Burton movie other than it's in his style of art.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. Is like his art is one of the things that really made that work.
And I wouldn't have a problem with that. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it was a musical at a time. Before Hamilton and all this other stuff.
It was before its time. Yeah. But if he would have just given credit to the guy, I wouldn't have any issue with it. I mean, that's the way, things are done like that sometimes. But it's all about
director giving credit. Was Henry Selick, and Michael McDowell and Caroline Thompson were big in the screenplay.
Okay. At least we got some names out there, because those are the people that made it happen.
Yeah.
There was a documentary about it somewhere. That's the reason I even know about it. I don't know if it was on Netflix, like the movies that made us or something like that. It could be. Maybe. Because I think there was a Nightmare Before Christmas one made. That might, check that out, because I'm almost positive that's where I saw it at. But it
was also, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if not, they probably do mention it.
Yeah. There's also another great bit of scoring by Danny Elfman. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't beat his stuff, man. There's like almost no Tim Burton movies without his score. I think there's like one, which is, do we know, kids, what that movie is? There's probably more than one, but I know it was one specifically Danny Elfman did not score, and I love this movie. A great cult classic of a cult classic man. A cult classic director.
I can't think of it.
Ed Wood.
Oh, yeah.
Howard Shore did the music for Ed Wood.
Yeah, and you're a big fan of that.
Oh, I love Ed Wood.
Because you love Ed Wood. Yeah. Well, also you love The Figure, right?
Yeah, just it's such a terrible movie. It's the worst movie ever made, but it's just got that. It's got some icons in it, some horror icons, and that's kind of like what I'm all about. I love that kind of thing, like all those whole horror movie icons like Vampira, Thor Johnson, Elvira, who got sued by Vampira for that look. Anybody from horror, I don't care who it is, especially in the 80s.
Well, I always think of the other day about how I'd never noticed until, I don't know, I guess it's in my 20s or 30s. So you remember, was it Mob Squad?
Are you talking about the Monster Squad?
Oh, yeah, Monster Squad. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters.
That was like the Universal Monsters greatest hits, right?
Yeah, it was. It was a great movie. I remember loving it as a kid. I always, for some reason, this is how your mind makes weird associations. I always thought that Fred Savage was in that movie for years later, growing up.
Yeah.
Because his older brother on the show he was on is in the movie. I can't think of the actor's name, but oh shit! Now what was that show called? The one that
Wonder Years.
Wonder Years, yeah. He played his brother in the Wonder Years, and he was a bully in the movie. something like that.
Right.
An older brother being that type
Yeah.
of thing. What does that say? Next Daredevil series, well, it has no.
Oh, yeah. So there's another Daredevil series being done called Born Again.
Okay.
And they're not going to bring back Deborah Ann Wool or Eldon Henson, who were Karen and Foggy in the previous ones.
I see.
That's a big no for me. Like, they played a big part in that series, in my opinion. A lot of the investment that you had in characters that was beyond just like these characters that you classically care about came from those two actors, in my opinion. Well, it brought a lot more to the show.
I wish I could say I had an opinion because I've never actually seen the show, man. I've never seen the Daredevil movie. I don't know what it is, something about Daredevil. The only time I've seen Daredevil on TV was back in the day. They did a Hulk made-for-TV movie with Thor, Daredevil, and somebody else. I forget who the other superhero was.
They're always throwing those guys in there.
Yeah, but it was like, it was some real janky,
right,
looking stuff. But yeah, that's about the extent of the Daredevil I've seen on TV or in movies. I don't know what it is about his character. It just never I was never attracted to it in the comic books. He never had a great artist, in my opinion. And that's one of the big things that attracted me to the art at the comic books of our day. McFarlane, Liefeld, Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, all those guys, man.
Yeah. Well, the storylines were also kind of different than what you're used to with most of your comic books too. It was all centered in Hell's Kitchen. It was all like kind of community based, it felt like.
Yeah.
I will say that I think Charlie Cox, who plays Daredevil in both the previous series and the upcoming one, he does a great job as Daredevil. I'm glad that he's still working. They're going to bring back, is it Blumenthal John, the guy that was in Walking Dead that did the Punisher?
No, I was thinking.
It's not Blumenthal, but it's Bloom something or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the name, but they don't know who's playing Daredevil yet.
No, it's Charlie Cox going to be playing Daredevil, but they're also bringing back the guy that played the Punisher in the previous series.
I see. Well, I like some consistency there. That's a good thing. I get sick of seeing faces change and the same superheroes all the time, man.
Yeah.
Leave Batman alone for a while. Apparently I haven't seen the last Batman movie. It was almost sacrilege for me. I used to be a huge Batman fan. And I still love Batman, but just as I've gotten older, I'm just not as rabid about it.
I don't know. I've got mixed feelings on the previous Batman.
I've heard it was great. I've seen a lot of people say it's really great and they talk about it really great. So I guess if you're happy with it, then let's keep him for a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was Robert Pattinson, and this is said that it is an Elseworld version of Batman.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. You had Colin. Was it Colin? I think it was Colin Farrell playing. I think it was Cobblepot. I don't think it was necessarily the Penguin at the time.
Just Cobblepot, huh?
Yeah.
I like Colin Farrell at times.
Yeah. He there is nothing wrong with him as an actor. Now, he may have made some mistakes in the past.
We can't comment on his mistakes in the past. I'll tell you this, I would rather them let him loose with his natural accent. If nobody's ever heard him just talk in general, he cusses worse than I do, and he's got a great Irish accent, and he does a great American accent. But it's so sad that he very rarely gets to just let his natural accent flow. And it's funny to watch. There used to be a show, was it Table for Five or something like that, or Favreau's, he would like sit around with people.
Yeah, he'd sit around with a bunch of directors and just chat.
He sat around with him one time, and I sat there and watched that and just listened to that dude go, man. It was pretty funny just listening to it. But he I don't know that I can't speak to now because people change, but he used to have some issues.
Right.
Good actor though. Good actor, and I guess that's all that really matters.
Well, there was that, speaking of Daredevil.
Yeah.
There was that one time that he did one that wasn't so great.
Yeah. Now I can't say that some movies he's in, they might be shit, but generally he's pretty good at what he does.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. I didn't even, I'm skipping right over that one. And I don't know how I feel about this Time Bandits one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that's why I brought it up, because mixed feelings myself.
I remember seeing this in the theaters. I was but a young lad when this came out. I mean, I couldn't have been but about, 3 years old? I think it came out in, was it 80 or 82? Might have been 5. I think it was 80.
I don't know. It was early because the special effects were pretty special.
Yeah, but it has good. It's still it. We watch it just about every year. My wife, and it's one of her favorite movies, actually. Yeah. So we're talking about Time Bandits being remade. No, I'm sorry, being made into a series,
right?
By Jermaine Clement.
Yeah. And I don't know who he may be collaborating with on this. He does a lot of collab work. But, the original movie, pretty original content, right?
Yeah, you could say that. Everything Terry Gilliam does is original content as far as I'm concerned. He's always out there. That's why I love his stuff. Because when you just think you're seeing something real, you're not. Take Brazil, for instance, man. Like, you see you could live in that environment, right? You see people living in it, but it's just so foreign. Like, who would want to live like that? You know? And it's in his head. It's a trip. Yeah, I love his stuff. All except The Fisher King, man. I didn't care for that one. I saw that in the theater, too. Just didn't care for it. And I love Robin Williams. Wasn't a fan.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch it. I remember seeing it. I don't remember how I felt about it.
I would probably do better to watch it again and have maybe a different opinion on it as I've matured.
Right.
I'm like a fine wine after all.
Well, I actually found out about this because I just wanted to do some research on good old Jermaine.
Yeah.
Just because I'm a huge fanboy of his.
I probably know who he is, but the name I know. I'm better with faces.
Are you familiar with Flight of the Conchords?
Not really.
Okay. Did you watch Legion?
No.
Okay.
I'm not gonna make this easy.
He does a lot of most of his work is comedic. And I think a lot of days time, like he went through this spell with Flight of the Conchords where he had a lot of time in front of the camera. And like I said, he was in Legion and some other stuff.
Yeah.
But as a content creator, the guy is just amazing. Like everything he does is gold as far as I'm concerned. And I bring it up because I finally got around to watching the last season of What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay. Yes. You mentioned that. And see, I really wanted to see that when I saw the original trailer for the first season. Yeah. And my wife is one dude. I swear to God, it was just the ADHD beast got me again. I wanted to see it so bad. My wife was saying, "That's what you wanted to see. Let's watch it." I said, "Not right now. I don't want to watch that right now." And I have never yet to get back to it to watch it. And now they're like 3 seasons deep or some shit.
That was 4.
There you go.
That I just watched.
Damn.
And they've all been great. Like that's one of the things. It is a collab with Taika.
Right. Taika which is another thing that I would love.
And I'm wanting to say, I don't remember if Jermaine was involved. It's based off of a movie, What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Which was also decent, although you've got to be into watching some kind of, I don't know, maybe not top of the line type stuff. Because, they were unknowns at the time. Yeah.
That's all right. A lot of that shit becomes culty, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a cult classic, and it's a great story. I was thinking back when Anne Rice had her spill that that was it for vampires. Vampires were played out at that point. Guess what? Well, I was wrong.
Yeah.
This is a great story about a bunch of vampires living in a house on Staten Island, and just. It's hard to describe, but the humor's on point. Everything that they do is kind of different than what you would expect when you hear it at face value. For example, in season 4, one of the main characters comes out as gay, and everybody's like, "Yeah, we knew."
It was pretty obvious to everybody else except for himself.
Well, yeah, it was never discussed throughout the series. It was never really brought into the forelight or anything. And then, like, there's this episode where his family comes over and they're talking, and he's like, "I'm gay," and they're like, "Yeah, we knew. What the hell? Yeah. We love you. We don't care." Yeah.
Moving on.
Right. But yeah, he's just a great creator. Flight of the Conchords. If you have a chance, I've watched a little bit. It was a TV series, but it was a band as well, you know?
Yeah.
But their music is pretty good. I the last thing I'll say on this
Go ahead, man.
is
It's all good.
I don't know if you know who Sir Terry Pratchett is.
Oh yeah, Discworld.
Yes, Discworld.
I don't know anything other than that.
I kind of felt like once he died, there was a voice of farce and whimsy that was gone in the world today. And farce you can get anywhere, but there was a certain level of whimsy in his work that I never really saw anywhere else. I kind of get some of that sometimes from Jermaine.
Well, Douglas
so
Adams,
it's good to know that it's out
also
there.
When we lost him, we lost the same type of humor.
Right.
Yeah, because it's very similar.
Yeah. I kind of feel like Jermaine has taken up that mantle these days.
That's good. We need it for sure.
Yeah.
If Terry Gilliam wrote books, I suspect it would be similar.
I'm sure you're right.
Yeah, I say if he probably has wrote them.
Probably.
Yeah. I like.
All right.
I like his animations a lot too. He does in a lot of movies.
Yeah.
But now we get to the meat of the matter.
Well, our usual, that we get into every episode, right?
Yeah, we're going to start
Our
off
review.
with review of Picard Episode 4. And I must say it was an intense episode, man. It was good.
Yeah, well, I mean,
really
it expanded on a lot, right?
Yeah. It almost made you feel like, shit, are we done? That's kind of like at the end of the episode, I'm like, okay, I know there's more episodes coming, but this almost feels like, well, we're done. We're wrapping it up and going home.
Well, I mean, it is episode 4. If they do a common thing of 8 episodes in the season, it's kind of the middle, right?
Mid-season finale or something like that.
Yeah.
So you got the Wrath of Khan theme still kicking like crazy. Not to mention still that sound from like the motion picture from V'ger.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not quite as pronounced as it was in the motion picture, but it's still there.
Yeah.
I like it. It gives it an air of sinisterness. But
well, I also like the restraint they have on the intro.
Me too.
I always remember like TNG.
Yes.
The trumpets were just too much, right?
Well, I even made the comment to my wife. I like how they've just trimmed down this version for this season, like previous to the other 2 seasons of Picard. It's just, I love it because it's using the theme from First Contact, part of it mostly, and then a little bit of the Picard theme. But it's only a few seconds long. It's like everybody, after Game of Thrones came out, everybody decided that they needed to have like this big fanfare intro with these
right.
And you saw everybody doing it for a while, for years. Now, and even Picard was one of the last ones to do it. Discovery, they were doing it too. And now it's like they've all gone the exact opposite. It's like very minimal, that intro. And I loved that. I thought it was great.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So, when that's funny you brought that up because it's definitely something I said out loud a couple nights ago.
I always think that whenever I see the intro, I'm like, that was a really solid move.
And it's one of my favorites, man. The First Contact intro is just so, I don't know, it just moves me. That whole story, there's a part where Picard just goes apeshit and smashes all his ships that, man, every time I see it, it tears at me. It really, it's very rare that anything moves me, but for some reason I don't know what it is. It's just a stupid sci-fi show, but yet some reason that moment, he's such a good actor. You feel it. You feel his emotion at that moment, and man, does every time it just makes me just want to, I don't even know how to describe it. But so I guess I associate that music kind of with that feeling.
Awe-inspiring.
Yeah,
maybe.
No doubt about that. I mean, Patrick Stewart is on top of it. Just those classic Brit actors, and just are on another level.
Well, I mean, dude, the first the first X-Men iteration, him and Ian McKellen opposite each other, that was like a masterclass in old actors.
Right. And then, I mean, those two have been inseparable. At least, I say ever since. They probably knew each other beforehand, but at least ever since they've been inseparable. They've done tons of stuff together.
Yeah.
Hell, I mean, I think it even made people wonder if Patrick Stewart was actually gay. I mean, he's been married many times, but I think because of Ian McKellen, there was that talk. And then they did a movie together where Patrick Stewart was gay in the movie with him.
Right.
So that probably didn't help either. But yeah, it's just...
Well,
amazing.
He's
actor.
Also a classically trained actor, which probably also doesn't help, right?
Oh well, sure, man. Jesus, 9 out of 10 of them are probably gay. You know, and so he would have been the definitely the odd man out there.
Yeah,
the actual straight guy coming out of the group. But fantastic actor, no matter what, man. I mean, just his voice ain't as quite as good as it used to be. Lost that timbre a little bit, a little scratchy,
a little bit.
But, man, he's still pretty good.
Yeah.
So we kick off. We find out something we didn't know, that Vadic is a shapeshifter, and it was wild, man. That whole the communication system thing was pretty wicked looking.
That and when we saw the other changeling, like I felt like they did a lot of really good work with the grossness aspect.
Yeah,
like a lot of fatty tissues. And
it reminded me of the Blob from '85. The old, it looked a lot like that, man. It's just exactly like that. I kept waiting for him to like get on top of somebody and start sucking their face in and just be like a skeleton or something, you know. That'd have been wicked.
Well, there were definitely elements of body horror involved in that, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Because obviously Vadic cuts off a hand to communicate with whoever
that
she's
was wicked,
serving.
man. She's just like, and then, and it was so, like you say, it was gruesome looking, like it, and it forms this face. We guess is like what the shapeshifter, because you know, back in Deep Space Nine, the shapeshifters all kind of had a look, you know. Yeah. Even though Odo says he doesn't know how come the rest of them, you know, they say, I think they say they choose to look that way so they don't look exactly human. Because they don't care for being human at all. But Odo always claimed that he just couldn't do it. You know, he just
What is it, a marmoset or something? They look like one of those monkeys with the funny noses.
Yeah, I can't remember. I forgot. Oh, so yeah, so I guess we're seeing that modern version of that generic face in this bubbly goo of ooze that makes up the Great Link. You know.
Yeah,
this is interesting because we haven't seen, you know, the modern take on the shapeshifter, so I love it.
I do too. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that aspect.
It makes me wonder what's going on with Jack. He's having these crazy flashbacks, you know.
Well, he does at the end anyway,
right? And I'm like, is he really a shapeshifter? Was Jack, you know? Was Jack really Picard's and Beverly's son, but this guy's not Jack anymore? Or what's the story here? You know,
some kind of a brainwash deal,
or is it some kind of hybrid? Is that possible? Is there some way that something could have screwed Beverly somehow, somehow, and gotten, you know, I don't know, some weird shit like that, or some kind of genetic grafting of the two species. And somehow they use the DNA of his son.
Who knows? I mean, they also, in the Next Generation, and I want to say it was in Nemesis, maybe one of the others, there's a common theme of like tech being used to control thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So who knows? It could be anything, but it is interesting to find out where it will go.
Yeah, he's having some wicked flashbacks. So they're all down on their luck, thinking, "Oh hell, we're all gonna die." You know, Riker finally he tells everybody, "Well, just shut everything down except for life support, and we're just gonna drift off into whatever." And then he goes and visits Picard,
heart to heart with Picard.
Yeah. And then they go off into Picard leaves and goes and grabs his son. And
well, he tells him to, right? He's like, you need to make amends. This is it. We're going to die.
Yeah.
Go talk to your son.
Go talk to your son, man. I never got the chance to really do that,
Right.
And so he goes, Beverly, let me have a moment with him. And this is okay. So, but I have an issue with shit like this. But I guess in this instance, it's okay because you probably would do it if you thought you were going to die. You maybe would take somebody off to do that. But there's a lot of instances like this where it's like there's so much time left, and I feel that there's a lot of wasted bullshit. Dialogue between people. It's like, what are you doing right now? Why aren't y'all busting ass to fix whatever you got to fix to get going? You got time to sit there and, bullshit with each other? I wish I could give a great example. This is not in this episode, because I say that it's okay for how they did it with this. So they go off into the holodeck, which many people, I'm sure, right off the bat were going, what the fuck? They're on low power and they've got the holodeck going? Well, put on the brakes. It's okay.
Hey.
They covered that way back in Voyager, y'all.
Yeah, and they did it right up front with this as well.
Yeah, I like, because they gave people time. They gave all the nerds, the real uber nerds, time to say all that shit, and then they come back and said, yes, well, actually, this is on a separate power system and shit.
Technically.
And, yeah, because we want people to have a place to go when they know they have no choice but to die, so they can go here and be in a tranquil place. We can set it for whatever. And they'll just die happy, hopefully.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. But they said that in Voyager, that they were separate power systems, and getting them to try and interface together. Like, so sometimes you're thinking, oh, well, let's tap into the holodeck power system to save them from this situation. Why don't they do that? Well, that's, again, they've said it's a bitch to do.
Yeah.
They've kind of screwed themselves out of their own little tools on purpose, and it's a good thing. You got to put some kind of roadblocks on stuff like that, or they'll just be devices they use to get them out of situations all the time.
Well, that, and scenes like this wouldn't make sense otherwise, right?
Yeah, no doubt at all. Because I certainly would have been bitching if I didn't know all that other. Before that, I would have been going, "How dare you be on the holodeck right now?"
Yeah,
we need that air. We need to breathe.
It's also another problem I have with the writing, that whole thing with Picard's flashbacks. I'm like, okay, why are we flashing back to this freaking bar where he's just sitting down, trying to eat lunch with cadets coming up, talking to him, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of a tip off that, it was going to tie in. And obviously they did it in the same episode.
Yep.
I just don't like that kind of writing necessarily.
Right. Yeah.
But I still like the show,
Well, they think they're being overly clever or something. I don't know. Sometimes writers do get overly clever and outsmart themselves, in my opinion. Yeah, writing themselves into a circle. But so they have a nice talky talk, and then Shaw comes in there. We find out what his issue was with Picard. He was at Battle of Wolf 359.
Yeah,
and
where. He didn't really run into Picard, right?
No, he didn't. But man, I tell you what, I find it, and I guess you just have to put yourself in the context of being there and living that and whatever. It's like, dude, y'all know he had no choice, right? Like, it's not like he went over there and said, "Make me the cutest," I don't.
But at the same time,
I mean, he's just, I don't know. It's just a visual form, more or less. Like, it's not him, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just weird to see this day and age, too, like, to still see guys going off about Wolf 359. It's not like that was a long time ago at this point in history.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but I don't know. I think it was a good thing. We could, we've heard him bitch about him being a Borg before, right?
Yeah.
But they never really said anything about it until this episode, and now we understand. Like, he says the one Borg that was deadly enough to give them a name.
Yeah.
And he sat there, and they were all on the deck of their ship waiting to die, basically. And then somebody comes up and says, "We got room for 10," and just starts pointing at people, and he was number 10.
Yeah. The person pointing didn't go.
Right. Yeah.
Like, they could have gone, but didn't.
I think that was decent writing. I don't see any
Oh
problem
no, it
with
wasn't bad. I just, I just never really. I guess I get it. Like I said, if you were in that world and you had to live it, maybe I would have that reaction too. I don't know.
Right.
I'm so separated from it that I just don't see how you can really hold it against him like that. But even he gets it. He says so. He's like, "Yeah, I get it. Fuck it. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I'm out of here." So
he's like, "No, it's fine."
Yep. As you were. Take it from there. Where do we go from there?
So Beverly this whole time has been counting down.
Okay.
For the shocks.
Yes, thank you. This thing, I'm like, Beverly, are you going to let on anytime soon?
Right.
They kind of go on. Yes, they go on with her for a hot minute about, okay, we get it, Bev. You're seeing something, but you're not telling a fucking soul about it.
Nobody.
So yeah, that goes on for a while. So continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so she's basically timing these energy surges that hit throughout the nebula that they're in.
And noticing that the ship gets very bright and they get a power surge and everything.
Right. And she's basically already at this point, they've determined that there's some kind of biological life form in the nebula that's doing something. They don't know exactly what. But she figures out the timing. I can't remember the order here, but at some point they were talking about how, that life support's not going to last. They can't do thrusters or warp or anything. So they're on the timeline. And then
they do exactly what I thought they would do.
Is it Picard that inspired Jack? I think that's the way it went, to think about it, right?
I don't even remember how they got on it, but they decide that they can ride this energy wave. Well, Beverly finally comes to him and says, "Look, I've been watching this shit. It's contractions from an alien. I think we can, I don't know if she says it, but somebody says, "Oh, we think we can ride this wave out of here."
Well, that's what I was saying. I can't remember if it was Picard saying it.
Might have been Bev,
Riker, or Jack, or maybe even Bev.
Yeah, but
the main thing is that they have to open the nacelles,
right,
to absorb the power. Only one guy on the ship.
The old grease monkey, because we learned that in his rant with Picard that he was an old grease monkey.
Old grease monkey from Detroit.
Yep. And
which is Shaw, of course.
Yep, they need his help. And he's more than happy to oblige.
Is he?
Somewhat happy to oblige. He's on so many painkillers, he's somewhat happy, I promise you.
Right.
It might not have been about that, but it was something.
So apparently the shapeshifter's still on the loose. Before all of this, Seven ran into the shapeshifter in a vestibule or whatever.
Yep.
A corridor.
Shot at it.
Yeah, shot at it, exchanged shots. Before they even exchanged shot, it just kind of double tap back of the head one of the cadets or something.
Right,
there.
Yeah, no mercy.
Yeah, and so it runs away, and another great part of that body horror with the changelings,
the old blob thing.
It's into the wall.
Yeah, it goes right into the wall. And
Shaw tells her to find its bucket.
Yep. And they literally have the same fucking bucket that Odo has. It's like, what do they have, a pen shop for this particular bucket? It was kind of weird, but okay, whatever. She knew what she was looking for. She found it. So Shaw was like, you need to make it come to you because it has to get into its liquid form. That was like the big revelation he told her. She didn't know. Y'all got to remember, Seven knows shit about the changeling. She was on Voyager. Right. Okay, continue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, before that, this is a lot of before that. Yeah. She did find the body of the engineering.
It was the transporter chief.
Yeah. Yep. And said, this amount of time, he's been here this long, blah, blah, blah. So, she finds it in his quarters. Then out in the corridor, she runs into the changeling. It shoots the pot to where she can't get a genetics off of it.
Yeah, right away. We left that out because they were trying to get some genetic sample to where they could just have the computer find the thing. Well, it shoots the pot, disintegrates it. It knows what they're up to already, I guess.
Yeah. And so then it flees.
Then we see him going, well, they start to do the nacelles. We were talking about they had to open the nacelles up. So
right.
we're probably skipping something out of order.
We are. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. But essentially, you go to the nacelles. Vadic's been told by her little cosmic thing to get them no matter what. So she says, no, I don't want to, but then she does.
Well, she says she can't go into the nebula because of what her hull is.
Oh, yeah. She has to dump that spatial device. And guess where it comes from? Because we see as it's flying by, it's got this big logo stamped to the side of it, Daystrom Institute. So that was that piece of tech that was ripped off. That old Raffi, which we haven't even talked about. She wasn't in this episode at all, was she? This was all.
I didn't see her or Worf.
That makes it easy on us. You don't have to worry about Raffi and Worf at all in this episode. There's nothing to do with them, other than that little tidbit of information. You need to know that that's part of what they were trying to do, or trying to find out.
Yeah, but and I expect we'll have a heavy episode for them soon.
Yeah, more than likely, probably next episode. Matter of fact,
right.
So basically, we're back with Shaw, and they're trying to get the nacelles open at 7, and all of a sudden, LaForge's daughter comes in and is like, "I'm here to help," and you think Shaw's kind of already like, "Sure, just hand me that over there," because you see him grab something like he's going to use it as a weapon, but then all of a sudden, you see 7 with a gun, a phaser, and
before all this, he and 7 both had the discussion of like, well, you know, if the shapeshifter is going to do anything, now's the time, right?
Right. Yeah.
This is the perfect spot for them to sabotage. So that's why they're both on edge with anybody.
Yeah. Excellent point. So she gets the phaser to her, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "I'm here to help." You know, nobody knows better than Geordi LaForge's daughter how to be an engineer.
My dad.
Yeah.
Do you know who my dad is?
Do you know who he is? JD Shellnut. So anyway, she's like, "What's my name, bitch?" And she goes,
"No, well, yeah." She says,
"What do you
something
call
about
me?"
Commander, and then she's like, "Commander what?"
Commander Hansen, and she says, doesn't even think twice about it, because she always called her Commander 7 out of respect for her. That's
and
what 7 tells Shaw.
I'm not sure that was a great move, in my opinion. I don't know that I would have written it that way, because it really doesn't make a lot of sense that she's in the presence of her captain, right?
Yeah.
Who has insisted on giving her this other name. I don't know. It just kind of feels like a situation where maybe she might have said Hansen.
Yeah. Or you mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. I don't know. It was all a little weird to me that they used her at all. But,
yeah.
But then so after she shot, they look back at Shaw, and he looks kind of surprised. And I don't know that it's surprised that she just shot her so quick, because she does explain, well, she called me, Commander 7. But it almost looked to me like he was surprised that she was a changeling at all. Like, that's what it seemed like. And I think it was it was lost. It made it look like it was that, but it really was just him being surprised she shot her.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. I kind of felt like he was just sort of surprised that, it was like, "What's my name?" That, just that quick.
Yeah, I guess in retrospect, I can see it just as being that. But so they vent the nacelles like they need to. They end up.
Well, there's the dramatic thing.
Well, right, they have to convince Riker too that this was the thing to do, and he didn't want to go for it first, but then I think he might have been one that said to do the nacelles, wasn't he? Well, if we're going to do it, then do it this way. I know he said something like that.
Well, he was the one that came to Shaw, right?
Yeah.
About how he's the only one that can do it.
Right, the grease monkey.
Well, no, that was Picard, because Picard called him a grease monkey.
Jesus. I really should. If we hadn't been like scrambling to get this show done today because of my wife's crazy schedule, then I would have gone and rewatched some of this real quick. But
yeah, I kind of feel like I should watch this twice.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt. And I did. I always intend to. It just never works out.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
the nacelles get open. They're on a big time crunch. There's this time limit of when the last one that they'll be alive for comes, right?
Yep, that's it. And then here it comes. And now they've got to catch it, and boom, sure enough, they catch it. Of course.
Yeah.
And they ride it out. First they get a couple asteroids in their way, and they're freaking out about that. But Picard
doing
his famous
con,
maneuvers. He gets into the con. We've seen something like this in an old TNG episode called Booby Trap, where he had to get out of the using like the ship's inertia or something like that. They got like one
slingshot maneuver.
Yeah, and then he did his famous slingshot maneuver. And then we might get what might be called the Riker maneuver from now on, with that giant asteroid. So they're coming out, and they've got these asteroids. Picard's maneuvering it all around them, getting out. And
Can we pause for just 1 second? I just wanted to bring something up.
Okay.
It's pretty important. So the slingshot maneuver is actually real, right?
Yeah.
From Apollo.
Right.
So I just thought we should add that in there. That this was something that TNG took from reality of the lunar space missions.
Right.
Please. Go
ahead. No problem. So they have these asteroids in front of them, or whatever they are. They're big ass rocks. And there's Vadic, right, waiting for them, just right there. And they're like, all right. And Riker's like, okay, is the tractor beam ready to go? And she's like, yes, sir. And next thing you know, you see the ship coming right towards the camera. It flies over, and it's got the tractor beam.
Fire aft thrusters at whatever.
Yeah, and then this fucking giant asteroid with the tractor beam comes flying out, and here's Vadic just, what the hell? It just
felt a little Galaxy Quest to me.
Yeah, it was like right in there, plowed right. It was Galaxy Questy, very Galaxy Questy, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it just kind of knocked her out of the way. It didn't blow her ship up or nothing like that. And they make their way past her, and everything's good.
Yeah, all the babies come out of the nebula. Right?
Yeah, all the babies are born, because that's what Crusher said. This is an organic thing, and it's having babies. These are contractions. Yeah, so it's a bunch of little jellyfish-looking things. Kind of like encountered at Farpoint. They had those jellyfish creatures that they encountered before there.
Was it Beverly that said, seek out new life?
Yes, she's the first. That's the first time that Gates McFadden has ever said the lines from the intro.
Yeah.
It's not the whole line, but she said, yeah.
I think Jonathan says, well, I think we should boldly go.
We should boldly get the fuck out of here. Right. Something like that. It wasn't, I don't think it was that blatant, but yeah, it was something like that. It was a great line.
And then they go.
Yep. Right? And then they get out of there, and basically you think everything's kind of, chilled out a little bit, but they know they've got to figure out what's going on here. There's something going on with the shapeshifters. So we're left with that mystery, and of course we don't know what Raffi and Worf have been up to. After
this is when we get the scene with Jack in the bathroom, where he's having his flashbacks.
Yeah, he starts having these weird flashbacks, and I don't know. It's like
it's stuff that comes up when they talk about the Dominion War, right? It seems like the same frames that they used in previous episodes of Picard, talking about the Dominion War.
Yeah, some of that was a little lost on me. Maybe in another viewing. But yeah, I couldn't quite make out what was going on with those flashbacks.
Right. They don't really say anything expressly.
Yeah. So maybe we'll find out.
But there's a voice in his head, right?
Yeah, something's going on there. He's having something happening there.
Yeah.
But that's basically it. That's Picard episode 4. Definitely a good episode. I'm not unhappy with the way it's going so far.
I kind of feel like Jonathan Frakes, he's done plenty of acting besides Star Trek Next Generation.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought he did great as a magician. He had that series where he was a magician for a while.
Yeah, he was also doing voiceover for Gargoyles for the longest time, that old cartoon Gargoyles.
Yeah. But I kind of feel like in Picard here, he's kind of on a new level of his delivery and acting.
Yeah, he's really standing out, and I keep waiting for the other. Where's Geordi? Where's Data or Lore or whoever it is? I guess that's where we're going to get in the next 4 episodes or whatever.
I'm sure it'll come up.
Yeah, we haven't seen them at all. So there it is. We're going to move out of the Star Trek world now into the other side of fandom, the other important Star world, Star Wars.
More space.
Mandalorian Episode7.
Mando.
Yeah, great episode because it actually did something. First of all, and we teased you a little bit at the beginning. We said, you know, Brian said last week that they should have put this as a 2-part season premiere, and he was right, because if they'd have just packaged these two together, then, you know, it would have just been a lot better. The other one, the first episode, just doesn't stand well on its own. It's just forwarding the story is all it's doing.
Yeah, nobody would have complained if both of these came out at the same time.
Not at all.
Like all the complaints of everybody about how it was slow and there was no action, or, you know, there was action, but, you know, nothing.
Yeah, nothing great. Just that
impressive
turtle alligator thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
And it just felt kind of empty to them. If both of these were together, no complaints. I'm 100% on that.
So it falls into the same thing. So both of us were right. I say it fell into the Obi-Wan thing. It just should either put it all out or do a 2-part season premiere. Either way, you save yourself a lot of heartache with people just not getting what you're doing, not picking up what you're laying down, or whatever. I don't know. But
we were right on a lot of points, actually, though.
Sure.
Because, of course, he went back to Peli, right?
Yeah. Yep. And
we bought up.
Yeah, because I was really happy to see her. And R5. I love that he ends up with R5, man. I was trying to tell my wife all about R5 real quick. I'm like, you know, this is the droid that blew up when Luke was trying to get a droid. This could have been the
droid. Came along.
Yeah, I mean, this is the reason R2 came. I mean, he's got a history, this guy, and I just love how he didn't want to do nothing. He's like, I don't really want to do this ain't for me. She's like, no, he's adventurous. He's super adventurous. You know, no. It's sad when you can actually start to understand the R2,
the droids,
man. Especially Chopper. You could understand Chopper a lot in Rebellion. Rebels,
That's by design. They put a lot of time and effort into the linguistic. Well, I guess it wouldn't be linguistics, but something along that line.
Well, there's a guy listed as Chopper's voice, so I assume that they're just like he's either laying out the actual, because if there's subtitles, if you've ever watched it with subtitles, what Chopper says, so he's either laying out the lines and they're just changing it somehow, or he's just he knows the lines and he's just adding the boops in the cadence of the lines or something, trying to kind of sound like it a little. I don't know, but I understand him way too much. And BB-8 too. I've understood BB-8 a lot as well.
I was going to say that virtually, like R2 took a little while for me.
Yeah.
It's because he's got a lot of variants.
Yeah, he's not as obvious. I think they're doing it more deliberately now than they were back in the day.
Right.
I don't think it meant the same thing back in the day.
Well, no, I mean, I can go back and watch the original trilogy, and I'm picking up a lot more what R2 is saying at that point.
I wonder if they've changed anything, though.
Maybe.
You know, that could be it, too.
That's possible. Yeah.
You know, other than, woo, you know, I mean, that was horrible, but when he's just sad or whatever, doing that little.
Yeah. Oh.
It's really hard to do R2's sad face.
Right.
R2's sad face. But he's back at Pell's. He gets R5. She puts back in his droid port, which is like, well, what the fuck? They didn't think that through, obviously, because she gives Grogu this port that they don't even use, but for like 2 episodes. I mean, I guess it's been a year at least, but yeah. So he gets his droid port back so R5 can ride along because he needs a droid. He can't get. It makes me wonder why all the IG-11 shit.
Right. I was going to say, kind of felt like they gave up a little bit too easy on that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like she asked the Jawas if he can get the part for IG-11 to make him work. They're like, no, fuck off. Can't do it. She already told him that's some old shit, Grandpa. And so he can't get it fixed. That's why R5 even comes into the picture. So I don't even know what all that was about. That makes episode 1 feel even more wasted.
It'll come up later in the season.
I hope so, but yes, I think we can give them enough credit to assume that they'll do it.
And a flashback to our previous episode, I was saying something about an IG-88 possibly being terminated on Tatooine. What I do recall now, I went back and looked it up. I think this was actually in the comics, but the original IG-88 had some clones, right? They had other IG units, and he kind of downloaded himself into it.
Oh yeah.
And one of them, Boba Fett supposedly killed over Tatooine, blew up a ship. But we saw it later. So that's where I was thinking previously, where I was like, wasn't there an IG-88 on Tatooine?
Yeah, they all look alike.
Yeah, right. There's one thing you can say about droids anyway.
Yeah, at least those IG units, they all look alike. And those definitely do. At least the the astromechs at least look somewhat different. All of them.
Yeah, well,
but we've never seen ones like exactly the same. Like, I guess they're all slightly different. We've never seen ones with the exact same paint schemes.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There is the Imperial version of R2, basically, right?
And he's got a
and we see that more than once.
Yeah,
that's a pretty common.
Yeah, you do see that one. That's probably the only one. That's because they don't like frisky paint schemes. They like their grays and their blacks. That'd be crazy. I mean, I could see a red one on an Imperial ship. That'd be pretty cool. Red and black, bro. Red and black. Black chrome would even be cooler. Yeah, with the red pinstripes. Oh man, I could see that. I used to have at a time. I used to want to collect the little droids, just all the droids and all the Stormtrooper variations. I love Stormtrooper armor and all the variations. But I'm digressing way off what we're supposed to be talking about.
That's what we're here for. This is our main topic.
That's right. So where do we? Okay, so we were at Pell's. He got R5, and he needs the droid to check out the atmosphere, take some samples, all that shit. So that's what the whole point.
Make sure that the air's not poison,
right? Because supposedly Mandalore is cursed, right? So he gets to Mandalore. He sends the droid on its way, and
the droid again is hesitant.
Yep, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. We're watching this red dot, no red dot. So he's like, oh shit, I got to go out here after him. He tells Grogu to get in his little pod and turn so he can seal it off. And he says, I'll pressurize my helmet. And he gets out and gets attacked by these. I forget. Do you remember what they're called?
I don't. They did mention it in the episode.
Ictars or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, something
like that. But they're like, it's almost like the mole people or something.
Yeah.
She says they've lived around the outskirts of their cities, but they must have survived. Now they're living underground, but they're kind of like, almost like Gorn looking, like 4-eyed looking Gorns with the warthog type tusks and shit. It's kind of weird. Yeah. So he gets attacked by 3 of those, and he has to get the Darksaber out, and he's fumbling around with that thing, but he manages to dispatch all 3 of them, and finds R5 laying over on his side, picks him up. They walk back to the ship. Yeah, dust him off. They walk back to the ship. He takes a chance and that's right. R5 shows him. Yeah, shows him that the atmosphere is fine. So he's like, holy shit, it's not cursed. We can breathe the air. So they finally go back down to where he thinks the mines are in the center of the place.
Well, he picks up Grogu, puts him in his cradle.
Right.
And they go down.
Yeah, they all go down. They leave R5. He and Grogu go down.
Yeah.
And it's way down. Like he just jumps off the ledge, and Grogu just kind of falls. Yeah, it's cool. Has a little repulsor lift, I guess. Just kind of keeps him from dropping too fast.
Right.
And Mando just uses his jetpack, and they go quite a ways down, and they see some kind of like reptilian creatures. You almost could kind of see an evolutionary thing between those like lizard creatures and the Ictars or whatever they're called.
Yeah, or just maybe a theme of like, these are the creatures that can survive in this environment.
Right. Whatever that
shelling.
Yeah, whatever that green stuff is too. I don't know what that is. Is that Beskar? I don't know. I guess not. I'm not really sure, but it's kind of very emeraldy looking material. And these creatures glow. Their eyes glow the same color, and their skin's green. So you kind of get a feeling there's that whatever that is, that it's kind of in their bodies too. But anyway, it doesn't seem like it makes them have any superpowers or anything like that, but other than their cool green eyes. Anyway, Grogu's a little kind of feel wary.
Like Gamorreans, right?
Yeah, like Gamorrean guards.
Just a little different.
Yeah, without the green eyes. So Grogu's very apprehensive of these lizard-looking creatures that are in these sewer pipes. And they make way past it, and Mando looks down, and he sees this helmet, this old-ass helmet, kind of half buried in the dirt. And he picks it up and starts dusting it off, and next thing you know, boom, man, it's like that scene out of Flash Gordon where that thing comes out of the ground and puts it's like a swamp spider or something. But this is a mechanical in Mando. It's like this mechanical thing. And at first I'm like, is that biomechanical? Because you can see this eye is also very Dalek-like from Doctor Who. You just see this eye. And it's obviously a mechanical thing, so I'm like, is it biomechanical? What's going on here? So it immediately subdues Mando, and it's got him trapped under, and it's very this mechanical thing. It looks very insect-like. It's many legs and arms, but it's all mechanical, like gear-looking things moving, and it takes him to this place, and it doesn't see Grogu, and Grogu's like hiding out and watching where it's taking him. And you want to take it on from here?
Well. Yeah, Grogu jumps out of his cradle, right?
Yeah, like straight up Star Wars style, or like Luke Skywalker style, flipping and shit. He's crazy. It's awesome.
And just basically follows him in. We see this creature get out of the mech, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. And it's kind of, I want to say he's almost like a really poor man's version of General Grievous.
I think that was intentional because I kind of had the same feeling. You know, it kind of felt like Grievous adjacent.
Yeah, like if say Grievous, like if Grievous's just main organic parts survived, but he didn't have that helmet and suit anymore, and somehow his one eyeball survived or something, and his heart or whatever didn't get blowed up like Obi-Wan. Pretty much singed everything inside him, all his organic parts. If that somehow he survived, then he can take these parts of droids and whatever and kind of muddle something together. That's what this character is like. And we don't know what he is. We never find out what he is.
Well, the mecha thing also, to me, kind of felt like maybe what if somebody like Geiger had a influence on, I don't know, did you watch Ghost in the Shell? Were you a fan of that?
Nah, I never really watched it.
Well, they had these bots called Tachikomas. They were AI. It was a big part of the story. It kind of felt like what if Geiger had done that? But in the initial introduction, we see Mando get stabbed with like a needle in his neck.
Yeah.
So he's been helpless this whole time.
Yeah, and then this guy sticks this little creature thing, biomechanical thing. He sticks a thing in there, and he's got this droid that's like a pump. That's funny. It's just a droid that's a pump. So he kicks it, and it starts going, and it's excreting something for Mando. I don't know if it's just blood or what the hell it's pulling out of him. It's hard to tell, really.
Yeah, but I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah,
it's just extracting blood.
Yeah, extracting blood, and we have no idea why this guy's doing that. So the whole time Grogu's seeing him, and this creature thing just walks away out of the room basically, and Grogu comes up to Mando, and he can barely talk. He's like, "Get Bo-Katan," right? And so Grogu's got a fucking mission now. It's awesome, man. We get to see Grogu kind of have to go save his daddy, for lack of a better word, and he does more Luke Skywalker flips. Right when he gets to the shuttle, he makes his way back up. He's kind of scared of those little things in the sewer again, and he flips back into this starship and goes back to I forget the name of the place that Bo-Katan's at. He tells us too, because he gives Grogu a little map lesson again.
Yeah, he tells him about like 3 different planets in that system.
Yeah, in that system. Yeah, and he says, which is obviously we should have known, because he points out to Grogu where Bo-Katan was. Right. Grogu knows where he's going, and he makes it there, and she goes out there like she's ready to fucking throw down. She's like, I don't want to be bothered.
Droid.
Yeah, he
was there, right? Yeah. And he's like, "We've got an unexpected visitor," and she sees the ship. She thinks it's Den.
Yep.
So she's like, "Let's get rid of him once and for all."
Yep.
Which I thought was like, what is she going to try to kill him?
That's what I thought too, because she kind of goes out there like she's got the attitude, and then, can see there's nobody in there at first, and then the hatch opens and out pops Grogu. And she's like, what the heck? So
where's Dan?
they take her ship, which I wish I could remember the name of the. It's got to be the same company that makes the TIE fighters, because it looked a lot like some of the TIE fighter designs. Not very different. It kind of reminded me of Darth Maul's ship a little bit.
Reminds me of a B-wing to an extent. I mean, it's a totally different design, but it's got that mechanism.
I'm pretty sure hers is a twin ion engine design. It's like Senhai Systems or something like that. Who made it, and then that's a name that goes back to old X-wing. Like, it's been canon for years. I used to know that.
I did too. I used to know a lot of the companies.
Yeah, but it became useless information to where I didn't even need to use it. So it got filed back somewhere. But anyway, they get in her ship and they go way back down there, and she confronts.
We go through like a similar scene with her, right?
Yeah, it's like a whole walk through this whole
sets.
damn thing again, and that's a little tedious, but it feels like filler a little bit, but
it does.
So she ends up fighting that dude. Mando's still locked in that little, looks like a barbecue spit to me.
Right.
That's why I thought he was going to eat him at first.
Yeah.
But
it's basically a body cage.
Yeah, it's a body cage, and it's just good. And it does look like it can turn. I guess it did turn, didn't it?
It did turn. Yeah, he did at one point.
So she confronts him. She fights the dude. She grabs the saber. She sees the dark saber on the floor, grabs it up, and she can wield it just fine.
Yep.
But essentially, she wins the battle. That guy, that thing doesn't it get away? We see it get away, right?
I think she chops. No, I wanted to say for some reason that she chops its head off, but that's not what happens. She basically downs it, and then the head pops off.
Right, and then it goes in. It gets into the big mech, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. And then it attacks her with that, but then she bests that eventually.
And
they all end up leaving together. Oh, no. Back the fuck up. I'm sorry. She says they go back up a ways, back to where they started, kind of. And he's like, well, thank you very much for saving me, but I've got to go get in these waters because that's why I'm here. And she tells him, hey, that's just, I can't believe you believe these child stories, but whatever.
There's nothing magical.
He thinks that she's not going to even help him, and she goes, fuck it, I'll take you to him. Here, let's go. She'll never find him without me anyway. So she takes him to the living waters. There's a plaque, and she tells us the story. I wish I could remember the story now. The first Mandalorian.
Well, there were two stories. There's the story that she had about being a princess, right?
Yeah.
Doing the right for her father, and about how he was proud and all this other stuff.
Yep.
And then the plaque was about the mythosaur and the Mandalore.
Yeah, the first Mandalore or whatever, and how he bested the giant mythosaur that supposedly lived in that spot or something like that. It may not be exact.
She's always had a thing about the mythosaur isn't real, right? It was a...
Well, yeah, she doesn't believe the mythosaur is real, but apparently, this guy... Did he defeat it? Or I'm trying to remember if the story said he defeated it or if it just said that it existed there.
Well, I've been a little vague on it. I'm pretty sure it is defeat in a term, but I'm not sure if it was like taming it or killing it.
Yeah, maybe defeat just meant taming it and not actually killing it. Because it didn't seem to mess with her. And I'll say this because Den he walks down some steps. You think, okay, he's cool. Then all of a sudden, he's fucking gone.
Reciting his line, right?
Yeah, he's in the middle of talking about how, I am Mandalorian and I love myself and these waters and all that shit and whatever they say. And all of a sudden, he's just like, he's gone. And I thought he got like eaten by something, because that's what I said to my wife even before any of this. I said, there's something in the fucking water. Something's in there. I guarantee you something's in there. Yeah. And then when she said the mythosaur line, I'm like, the mythosaur, it's got to fucking be in there. Well, she's like, oh shit. She goes in with her jetpack and goes straight in, head first, flying fast as hell.
For a long time, too, right?
Yeah, way down. And he sunk like a rock. I thought he got pulled under. No, you see as she goes down that it was a couple steps and then just a huge hole. And he just basically stepped into a sinkhole, and because of all that armor, he just dropped like a rock.
Mm-hmm. Right.
In fact, it's amazing that he did drop that fast because she had a jetpack on, and he was already flat at the bottom by the time she got there. So I kind of take issue with how fast he got down there, but whatever. He was at the bottom, and she grabs him up, and as they're going up, the jetpack's lighting it up, and I guess she has her helmet light on too. And it catches the eye and the horn in a crack. It looks kind of like it's kind of sitting in a crevice or something. And It's the biggest fucking mythosaur you've ever seen in your life. It is ginormous.
Well, it's the only one we've seen, right?
I guess, have we? I thought, did they not? Yeah, I was trying to think.
I think there was some maybe in Clone Wars or something like that, but I don't remember anything in like.
They're talking about how they rode
stuff.
them. And of course, Rancors are ridden. They're pretty big too. So, who knows what but I get the feeling this is the mother of all mythosaurs.
It's pretty big.
It's pretty freaking big. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But it doesn't seem interested in them. It looks at him. You see its eye move, so you see it's alive. They make that much, and it sees him, but it doesn't. It doesn't do anything. She comes out, and we think, hell yeah, we just saw the mythosaur. This is about to get really good. End credits. Yep, that was it.
Just like, wow, an actual mythosaur.
It's like getting jerked off right to the point where you're about to come, and then that's it. Go home with blue balls. But it was a damn. I mean, like overall, especially when you compare it with episode 1, it was way better. And
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You gonna say something?
No, I wasn't.
I was just gonna say, one of my favorite things about Mando is, the beginning of the credits. Sometimes I'll actually sit through the whole credits because I love the theme song that much.
Yeah, I do too.
But I really do love the storyboards.
Yeah, the storyboards are great. You get to see how accurate they kept it too.
Right. But that was one thing we didn't mention about Picard that I really wanted to bring up. Their credit scene.
Yeah, aren't they leaving Easter eggs in there, aren't they?
Yeah, a couple. But I remember that mainly from the Avengers, right? Saw a lot of that in the Avengers where like pan over these artifacts of the Avengers like Cap's shield and Mjolnir and whatnot.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like this was so much better than that.
Right.
The way that Picard did it. But yeah, sidetrack, Mando's, it's worth it for me sometimes to watch the entirety of the extra, and sometimes I just watch the storyboards.
Yeah, I like the storyboards too. I've always loved the art of Star Wars. No doubt about it. Yeah. The art of anything like Star Trek, Star Wars, you name it.
Well, I kind of feel like those storyboards are kind of the reason that in Mando and some of these other things, why we get those feelings of realness from the sets, right?
Yep. They do a great job of planning it out ahead of time. A good storyboard artist can really, really save a director's ass as far as what he has to think about.
Yeah, it kind of informs the scene in general if it's done right.
I mean, you already got your look, got your camera setting, the way you want you to do your scene, maybe how you want the light to look, just all of it can be. It's, nowadays, when CGI first came out, a lot of guys started doing the previs thing. That was a brand new thing in cinematography, to previs everything. And now they previs it on a level where it's almost as good as what's rendered out for the final movie. But,
well, yeah, I mean, like a lot of the models are, just you drape a skin on it, right?
Just different skin. Now, I'll tell you that one of the first previs movies that I can remember was The Fifth Element. I used to get all those magazines back in the day when I was into wanting to do CG animation career. I used to get all those professional magazines on about that, and they were definitely forefront of that. What a great movie too. Fifth Element, just one of the best. Well, since we have a little bit of a problem with Fifth Element, don't we, Brian? We've only seen it 1,000 times. At our computer stores we've worked at over the years, they tend to play DVDs as like demoing a machine. And
right.
We had one boss that, of course, for our test DVD, I know at one place, at CDO, we just had that as a test DVD. And then I think we also at Uptech had it running between that and that video he brought back with the models, where it was playing that Enigma song over and over and over again.
God, I got so sick of Enigma.
Oh my God, I know, right? But yeah, it's amazing that I like The Fifth Element as much as I do, because as much as I've heard Aziz light,
right?
You know, it's crazy. That and Alien 4. Remember? Alien 4. He came back with.
I must have blocked that out.
A year, yeah. Alien Resurrection is what it was called, and that one played it over and over again.
I wanted to go back to The Fifth Element there for a second, because we were on a redhead kick, because obviously Bo-Katan, right?
Yeah. Similar haircut,
pretty sure
too.
It was Bryce Dallas Howard that did this last one, right? Wasn't she the director?
I don't remember. I don't even know if
she's
I
done one so far this season. I don't know if it was this last one or maybe earlier, but she did an episode. And you know, I've got mixed feelings on her in general, but I don't think anything that she's done in Star Wars has really offended me.
Yeah.
But I did think it was kind of funny, because I'm a big Firefly fan, and her initials are the same as Big Damn Heroes.
Oh, nice. I haven't seen all the Firefly. What I have seen and the overall concept, I love it. It's just such a shame that it didn't get more of a run. That's typical Fox for you, man. And I
don't know. It is.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were talking.
I was just going to say, it brings up the question of, you know, what we might have missed from Nathan Fillion and Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
Had it been successful.
Yeah. Alan's great. Nathan too. Both of them are great. They had a great cast. The girl. Oh, what is her name? She ended up playing the new V, the prostitute. She played in the new V. She's been in a shit ton of stuff. She's had a great career since Firefly. She's probably really happy that show's over.
Yeah,
because she's done nothing but do well. Nathan has too, and Alan as well. That last show, the Alien show. What's the name of it he's doing right now, Alan? Oh, shite.
I've been watching it too.
And it's crazy. So good. He is just brilliant in it, man.
He is
absolutely brilliant. I have liked him ever since A Knight's Tale. That's where I discovered him at. That's the very first thing I ever saw him in. And at first I thought he was British, because he does such a great English accent. And at first I was very disappointed he wasn't British, but man, everything I'd seen him in since, I love this guy. Even with the American accent, I don't care. I felt a little jilted at first, because I am such an Anglophile. I really am.
Right.
I definitely, I put way too much ketchup on shit. I had to have been in English in another life. I feel like I was like, well, if I think about if I was in another life, what life I had before this, I have to feel like it must have been very Oliver Twist. I feel like it was at that time, and I would have definitely been one of those kids, like probably like what's the kid's name? Friend. The one that took him around everywhere.
Oh, God, man, it's been so long I can't remember anything from all.
What is that kid's name? He has a dandy name.
Yeah.
Oh, that's killing me.
We did fail to mention one person from Firefly, Adam Baldwin.
Adam Baldwin, yeah.
He's a great. I don't think he's really gotten a chance to like be the front man of anything, right?
No, I saw him in something not too long ago.
Well, he was also in Chuck, which he was great in.
Yeah, he definitely overshadowed by his brothers a lot. Well, one, he doesn't look anything like his brothers. But he is
an amazing supporting actor, in my opinion.
I agree. He's a good character actor.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I would like to see more of him in other things.
Same.
But
yeah, sorry, I can't help you out with Oliver Twist stuff though.
it was on the tip of my tongue. What was that kid's name? I know somebody's going to tell us. I hope somebody can tell us in the comments. It was like Jack keeps popping in my head, but I don't think it was that.
We've got too much Jack going on.
Yeah. Like, because I come wanting to say Gentleman Jack, but that's not him. It's like, Oh, hell with it. I'm not going to keep people in suspense. Somebody knows who it is. They knew who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But that's who
well, I mean, I know who you're
been.
Talking about, but I'm drawing the same
I just
blank.
feel like I would have been a little pickpocket pauper back in the day, living a little
Right.
street urchin. That's probably what it would have been like. But I've had way too many obsessions with this ever since I was little, the British, and anything, like even going to, even as far as like in Australia, just because they're associated with it. Not so much Canada. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I would and then just noticing the way I eat things. And it wasn't because I knew that. I found out later in life that they put ketchup on every damn thing. I used to get harassed by my dad all the time about putting it, you're just ruining it. You're ruining those pork chops. I put ketchup on have a little place. I dip my pork chop in it. All kinds of stupid stuff. But
well, ketchup's pretty sweet, so
yeah,
it does help with a lot of dishes.
I love sweet and savory,
help.
bro. You hit the nail on the head. Anytime I get sweet and savory, I am just, oh my goodness.
Well, also like the British get a bad rap because they boil a lot of food, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I like, generally I see the stuff they eat and I'm like, yeah, that's right up my alley, man. My wife would just be like, no, I don't think so. She'd probably starve to death over it. But I wish I could eat it now that I got this fucking alpha gal syndrome, man. It sucks. I can't eat the meat. I would love to have a beef Wellington. Would just love to try that.
I would like to have some as well.
But no red meat for me anymore unless they find a cure for that shit. Somebody find a cure for this, please. I'm sick of eating chicken. I love chicken. But I love.
Well, you can eat Impossible burgers, right?
Yeah, but ever since I found it, look, I saw this video, man. Kid you not. Somebody compared the ingredients in Impossible with dog food ingredients, and they were literally exactly like. So I am not doing that. No, I know it won't hurt me ultimately, but it's just the principle of the thing, dude. I'm not that desperate. I have a willpower enough. Thankfully, one of the other superpowers of ADHD is I can eat the same thing over and over again every day and not give a shit. I do it. I eat these yakisoba noodles. I wish I had a package to show you right here.
I'm familiar with them.
Yeah, I love them little fuckers, man.
Yeah, I'm same way with noodles.
99 cents, bro. You can't go wrong. Now, I doctor them. I have a secret, and I don't know if I want to tell anybody because there was a shortage over the summer. Well, maybe it wasn't. This was a few months back, and I was not a happy camper that I couldn't get this stuff. It's a special teriyaki sauce. That
you mentioned it to me before.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, I know it. Yeah, you're right. I have mentioned it to you. You know what I'm talking about. I doctor it up with that, man, and I'm a happy camper. I get that sweet and savory I love. It's like a drug.
Well, teriyaki is good for that when you can get the right teriyaki. Sometimes people do teriyaki in really weird ways.
I am telling you, bro. Yeah, it's weird. And in some respects, this is a very different teriyaki, but I find it tastes more like, when we used to go with our buddy to the Japanese restaurants and eat, I find it more along the lines of the flavors from there. Not just like a basic Kiko Man teriyaki, which is fine in a pinch. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it's not what they use, y'all. Just
not what
they put it on the table.
For.
Just so y'all know, they put those on the table. That is not what they cook with.
Right.
Not at all. Not if they have they're doing it right. They're not anyway. It might be like a little hole in the wall might be using the cheap stuff. But anyway, I reckon I rambled on enough about that. I was thinking about doing some ADHD stuff.
We're going a little long on time, though, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. And this day is not the day I want to go long on time. So I'm going to hold it over when I can give it a little more love. And but we're going to talk about it soon. We're going to talk about it. At least know that I have done the work. It's ready to go. I could talk about it right now. So I wanted to get the work put in. So the ADHD did not stop me from doing that. And
just stop us from talking about it today.
I will tickle your ass with a feather real quick. One more time. I'll give you one of these shorter ones here. Okay, here's a good one.
Well, you had one. Okay, go ahead.
ADHD conversation interrupts. This is a good one. Now these are taken from videos, right? So I had a bunch of videos, and some just they won't work unless you see them. So these are ones that I thought I could write down. You could could understand them without seeing. So this is ADHD conversation interrupts. So number 1, factory reset. This is basically forgetting what you just came into the room to tell someone. I know that for me, this happens, oh my God, every day for me. I'll walk in and tell my wife something, or I will have let her know, because I've gotten so bad about it, I will say out loud what I'm about to do, just so she'll hear it. And then I'll walk back in and go, what was I doing? She'll go, you were doing this. Thank God for that. And her doing that. That has helped me tremendously. Do you have that factory reset one?
Well, that's, I was going to say, that's one of the reasons I'm kind of the way I am. We've had it happen today where I'll be like, hey, wait, let's go back because I wanted to mention this, because I'll never remember it if I don't catch it in 5 minutes or something.
Well, that one's on the list too. That one's on the list too. We'll get to that one in just a second. Number 2, brain mouth desync. And that's basically me. We'll sit here, well, yeah, let's do this, that, and the other thing, and then all of a sudden I'm just tripping over my own blah, and I forget what I'm saying, and we're done.
Happens to me
all
the time.
Just totally kills it, yeah. Number 3, volume. Getting very loud and animated for no reason. We're just talking to each other. Why am I getting so upset about this? I'm not upset. I'm just talking to you. But yeah, people take it for getting a little upset when you're really not. We're having fun. We're not upset.
Yeah. Well, that kind of goes along with the hyperfixation one, right? Where you're obsessed with something and you want to talk to somebody about it. Oh, yeah.
You want to talk to somebody about it, right?
They may be interested for a minute,
but they don't. Yeah,
eventually it's like, okay, shut up.
My mom used to get so annoyed with me when I would talk about stuff. I would be so excited. And when you're a kid growing up with only your mother and that's who you have to talk to, what do you do? Yeah, and that leads to number 4, recreational arguing. It sounds like we were trying to fight with you, but we're not. We're just talking.
Big devil's advocate.
Yeah.
People with ADHD, I think.
Yeah. And then the volume thing will come into it too. And then you think, okay, well, they're getting loud. They're arguing with me. What the fuck's going on here? No, it's not the case at all. It's just, these are keys to let you understand. You may have friends that do this. You probably know somebody right now who's doing this. And they may not know they have ADHD. Well, this could be one of the signs. And number 5, and this goes back to what Brian was just saying, pause. You might be in the middle of something. We're in the middle of a podcast right now. Stop! I got to go do this right now. Before I forget, I got to do this right now. And that's what you're doing. When you have to drop what you're doing or saying to go do what you need to do. And I know it happens to me all the time. I mean, I'm milling around the house all the time. I have to just, oh God, stop. I got to do this right now.
Happens to me. Not that much anymore. It caused a lot of problems in the past. So I guess I've kind of trimmed that out of my behavior pattern. Yeah. It's definitely something that's not great, especially if people don't know what the hell's going on. And that's one of the reasons I love learning this stuff about me, because I'm finding out there's way more to ADHD than I ever knew there was. I'm sure you're finding that out now too. Yes, all the time, every day.
I'm talking to you right there. Yeah. A lot of us have this, and we don't even know why we are the way we are. And I'm hoping that maybe I can bring that to you. So that was just a little tickle. Well, I did want to patch one thing on the end there. Okay.
It's something that can be related to ADHD, but it's not necessarily. I read an article recently about how people who experience trauma come off as assholes sometimes because we have these self-protective behaviors.
Sure.
These things that we do. We assess every situation as to like where threats come from, and if we sense something can be a threat, we'll kind of block it off.
Yep.
And something that I wasn't aware of, and maybe a lot of other people aren't, is that to the other people that you're interacting with, who may be normal, maybe not, whatever, regardless, you come off as a raging asshole.
Sure. Yeah. That's a self-defense mechanism. It's your security blanket. Yeah.
Yeah. But, it does more harm than good a lot of times.
Sure.
But I don't know. If you experience trauma, you don't want to experience it again, right?
Yeah, and that's why I'm so open about my narcissistic personality disorder and the ADHD, because if people don't know this about you, yes, Brian can tell you, there's so many times I've been called an asshole, and I can be, that's sure. But half the time I'm just in my own zone. I'm thinking, my brain's going 90 to nothing all the time. I might not even be thinking about you. Right. You know, we're in the same room together does not mean we're in the room together. I promise you that. Many times.
My body is just occupying the space, right?
That's it. So please don't find offense. You know, that's why, I think it's important for people, if they think that they have social issues as bad as like what I may have or whatever, I think it's good for people to know, hey, you need to know this about me. I'm really not as bad as it may seem right now. Yeah, it's important.
Well, it's also good for people with issues to know they're not alone.
Right. Yeah.
Regardless of what that is.
I think it's one thing that the internet's helped people realize is that they're not alone in a lot of things. It's been good and bad, but people are finding out they're not alone. And just know, as long as you're on Planet Gen X with us, you're never alone. Because we like what you like.
And we do what you do.
That's right. We fuck who you fuck. We smoke what you smoke. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We had an excellent episode, and hopefully we'll have a little better. I think we need to definitely watch these twice, so we can be less all over the road. We weren't as much all over the road, though, as we were with that one.
We got through a lot of talking.
And I remember
and it really
Mando
didn't feel
better.
like a lot of.
I watched it last night, so it was really fresh on the brain. Whereas Picard was a couple days ago, so didn't get
I'm
a
the
chance.
other. You know, I watched Mando first, and more of it stuck with me than Picard.
That's funny. Yeah, there's a lot to keep up with Picard, man. It's a little detailed. Mando, you can just kind of say, well, they did this, because there was a lot of walking in Mando too.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you so much, guys.
Thanks,
we really
guys.
appreciate you hanging out with us. Listen, last time I didn't say nothing about hitting that subscribe button and hitting that like button. Please, 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 we need all the help we can get. We're so young and virginal. We need it. We need you to spread us like an STD.
Like, subscribe.
Yep.
Put a comment.
Please comment.
If you have any comments, please.
We need you.
Love to hear from you.
We need the followers. I need the followers. My narcissism demands it.
Yep.
Did I say that right?
Narcissism?
Yeah, okay. I did. Yeah. All right. Good deal. Yeah. That's why I love Twitter so much. I'm up to 79 79 followers, man. I had a good day today.
Nice.
Yeah. My analytics are good. If my analytics were as good on here as they are on Twitter, I'd be a really happy camper. Not that they're bad on here at all by any means. By new channel standards, they're actually great. So very happy with both. But Twitter's being pretty cool. Actually laying down some money on that now. You can pay to get the blue ribbon now. I bought it last night. I broke down.
You also have to pay an exorbitant amount for an API.
That was another story I didn't bring up. That came in late though. And
they did.
And it was also a Wired article, and I said, nope, don't think so. I'd already told you.
I wanted to bring that up because
do bring it up. We're not done with this yet, because he does. That wasn't a Wired article, and I would have brought that to the news this week.
Well, I mean,
I'm pissed at Wired.
We had that talk about the other Wired article, involving Hogwarts
Legacy, their review.
But one thing I didn't mention was like Wired never really felt like they had the finger on the pulse of anything to me.
Never.
The whole time, anything I've seen of it, there was a cool cover once with the Millennium Falcon on it.
Yeah.
That's about all I cared about.
Right. Yeah. You got past that. Once the picture was gone, the magazine's worthless.
Yeah.
I mean, they just left a bad taste in my mouth with that review, man. That's for your web page, not for your magazine.
Right.
Just my
I don't know.
I don't want to get into the whole thing about that anyway, but just knowing that it was that article, I mean, that it was from them. Just I told whoever, because it was on Twitter, I saw it. Whoever posted it, I said, if this is a Wired article, I'm screwed. But if anybody else has this information in a article, I'd love to read it.
Right.
So I don't know the details of it. I just saw that the API is very expensive for Twitter, apparently.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you.
Well, I was just going to say, Wired exists in its own weird space. I don't know. It's probably changed over the years, but it was never anything like Kotaku or IO9 or any of these other sites that were big in the communities.
Right.
It was always just kind of a cash grab, in my opinion.
Yeah. To me, they're showing where their heart lies. And I'm just not going to give them any love. Oh, and not only that, listen, it wasn't just that, because I didn't realize it was a Wired article at first. It was because it was a paid article. Yeah, first of all, that's bullshit. Don't post something, and this was whoever, I don't know who posted, but don't post something on Twitter unless you can fucking read the article for free. That's bullshit. Why are you posting something nobody can read?
That's somebody's job.
Yeah, really.
To drum up revenue.
Yeah, exactly. Apparently. And then I saw, Wire, what am I doing? I was like, whoa, no, hell no, away from this.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll read something about the dev thing and we can bring it to you and what that's all about. But until then, I don't know.
You got a week.
Yep. So thanks, guys. We appreciate it. Until we see you next time on the flip side. Peace. Peace.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yep. Good night. Sleep tight.